Hello and welcome to Follow Everton. My name's Ryan. I'm the channel host and admin, and I'm here to reflect back on last night's defeat to Fulham. And I think we all feel very, very disappointed and very, very deflated to have gone out the cup. You know, it's possibly even the last quarter final played at Goodison Park before we move to Bramley Moor, which is happening the season after next. But I do feel really frustrated, obviously, with how we played that game. I mean, we've come into that match on the back of 4 straight wins without conceding a goal. And Fulham came to Goodison not to play football. They didn't come to play. They came to try and stop us, to slow the game down. They were time wasting from minute one, from every corner, from every throw in, from every free kick. And the referee, of course, obliged with the time wasting and the diving and the injuries. But I don't think Everton helped themselves. I mean, we had to set up with this unconventional side where Jared Branthwaite is playing back 4. Obviously, I had the team several hours earlier. I did share it on our social media. Branthwaite in a back 4 on the left-hand side, Michael Keane retaining his place. And the 3 defensive midfielders, Garner Gay, James Garner, who is flexible, but is technically a defensive midfielder, and Amadou Onana. And I looked at that team and I thought it was really, really unbalanced with not having natural attacking left back and with having 3 very similar players in the middle of the park in terms of the defensive sort of side of the game. What they want to do is basically win the ball back and press. And we struggled. We really struggled. I thought the crowd was quite flat. I mean, I was there at the match. I was sat in the Park End stand. It was very, very quiet. It was almost like going back a few years ago when we were expecting to win games and we just turn up and expect to win. But I wouldn't say there was complacency, but we didn't show a lot of quality. I was thinking about this quite a lot. I didn't have the best night's sleep, really, and I was up thinking about this, how disappointed and how deflated we must be as a fan base as a result. And I want to touch on a few things and give you my player ratings and welcome you all to the stream as well if you're watching, and if you're watching back, thank you so much. Of course, be sure to like and subscribe. Hello, Kevin. Hello, Peter, in the comments there. Thank you for dropping by. Everton's build-up. I mean, in the back 4, Branthwaite was very conscious of having to cover for Keane and Tarkowski, and he actually did so in that first half very well when he needed to make some vital interceptions coming across from left back, because Tarkowski and Keane weren't looking as solid, weren't winning as many of those first duels as you'd expect, and not being as composed in possession. But we didn't help ourselves. I mean, I look at that first goal, and this was a prime example of Everton in the build-up. Pickford playing a lofted pass to Jared Branthwaite. He doesn't want it there. You know, he's a centre-half playing out of position. Yes, he's technically very good, but you've played a very odd ball, and Pickford was guilty of that throughout the whole game. Really poor passes, really poor long balls. Puts us under pressure immediately. Branthwaite's in a 50-50. Fulham mop it up, but Everton are caught out because I think a lot of players are not expecting Pickford to play that kind of pass, you know, that hospital pass. And a lot of players are caught in the wrong positions, and as such, Fulham have got the ability there to kind of overload us, and they do so down that our right-hand side up against Nathan Patterson, who's, you know, he's trying to get across, but he doesn't get near the player who crosses the ball, and it comes off Michael Keane. Whether Michael Keane, again, you know, he's renowned for his own goals. Does he get his body position in the right place? But, you know, you're 1-0 down there, and Everton, I didn't really think we had much grip of the game. I didn't think we controlled it. I think there's a lot of people who said we played well. Make no mistake, Fulham didn't play well yesterday. Fulham played badly, but I thought Everton played badly. You know, building up from the back, it was a lot of sideways passes and then eventually just hoofing it forward to no one. We were playing these long diagonal balls out to the wingers or out to fullbacks with basically 50-50, where the fullback on the opposition team or the opposition player has got more of an advantage in terms of winning them. So we played these stupid passes, stupid long balls that were never on. The free kicks, again, it's our own downfall. You've seen how strong Everton are at free kicks and corners this season, and for some reason we've decided to change it up and pass the ball before playing the free kick. I mean, we've got players in there. Michael Keane, who's a goal threat, Tarkowski, a goal threat, Branthwaite's a goal threat. You've got players in that Everton team who are absolutely massive, a huge threat from set pieces, and we didn't play, you know, the set pieces as we should. I was really disappointed. that midfield battle as well, it was very congested in the middle, and I think Fulham knew that. And they knew that possibly we wouldn't stretch them in behind with our. I think we've got blistering pace on the wings, and our wingers are quite predictable with the way they always want to cut inside, and McNeil always wants to go wide of the opposition. To be fair, that's a bit harsh. He does like to dribble in, but I think it was quite congested in that middle of the pitch. Fulham wanted that, and Everton didn't really get a grips of the first ball and the second ball. But then when we did win the ball back, the thing that really wound me up was the fact that we'd win the ball back. We'd set traps for Fulham, and we get it back, and then we wouldn't do anything with it. We'd lose the ball within 1 or 2 seconds, almost. It felt like that anyway. 1 or 2 passes, and it'd be back in Fulham hands, and we just couldn't get play out of the press of Fulham. We couldn't play out of those congested areas. And the sad thing is, when we did, certainly in that first half, we were getting in those little pocket of spaces, and you'll know David Silva was brilliant at it for Man City, and Leon Osman actually at Everton, getting in the little side areas of the box and trying to pull the ball back and getting into those little areas. And we did that really well. The final ball wasn't good, and we didn't have enough numbers in the box. We really did miss the core. We didn't have the numbers in the box because we had 3 players all very similar in that midfield. And the goal threat wasn't quite there. It was a bit different to last time we played Fulham and couldn't put it in the net, but made lots of chances. So I'm frustrated that we didn't kind of utilise that more and get into those areas and be more careful with the final ball or get the numbers in the box to take advantage. Because it did feel quite flat, and it did feel like a game of few chances. And of course, Fulham have got the win, got the goal, and you're thinking at half time, it can't be this bad in the second half. But again, I didn't really feel like we got a grips of it. I felt like for 15, 20 minutes in that second half, Fulham were just on the floor, time wasting, doing everything they can to disrupt us and stop us building momentum. And Everton, we pushed, we made some changes. Dan Juma on the left coming in. He was bright, but of course, he doesn't have that defensive awareness, you can tell. And he also brought on Beto for Calvert-Lewin, who looks knackered and has not scored in 6 or 7 games. It's not a criticism of him because I think he's been good. I think he's contributed to the wins. And he's been a real threat and a hazard. He should have scored in some of these games, make no mistake, but he hasn't played badly. But he brings Beto on, and I think he was just about to bring on Ben Godfrey as well to bring us a little bit more impetus down the left and put Branthwaite back into midfield. But Beto, of course, gets the goal at that point, so we don't make that substitution. A fine header. It's a bit lucky. There's an element of luck in that goal. I think it's Harrison who hits a shot into the ground. It's deflected up, and Beto heads it in from a few yards. So we get the goal, and we're thinking, look, we've played absolutely shit. We've played into Fulham's hands. We've not played out the press. We've not created enough chances. We've not taken any chances that we did create. We've been wasteful with set pieces. We haven't dominated them in early. You know, they posed us. They were very good at trying to win those first balls. We didn't dominate that midfield. We couldn't get a grips of possession, but we're still in the game. We still got a chance to go on and win this. And it goes to penalties. I think Everton were tiring and we were scared to lose it more than trying to win it. I think not having the natural fullback on the left, overlapping Dan Juma, taking some space for him, not really having that third man in midfield running in, possibly missed Dele Alli. If he'd have been available, he would have been an option off the bench there. Even Andre Gomez, just to change it up in that midfield area because it's very predictable. I feel let down by the performance, and I feel frustrated by the way we played in that game, and I think a lot of the fans are. And then it goes to penalties. And you'd back England's number 1 to be winning, to be saving penalties and to be making it horrible for them because he's a very talented goalkeeper. He pulls off magnificent saves that you wouldn't always expect a goalkeeper to make. But, you know, we approached the penalties, I think, quite good. We won the toss. We won the opportunity to go down to the Gladys Street. And we won to take the first pen. And then Beto scores the first pen. And statistically, you're thinking Everton, it's, you know, all the pressure's on Fulham there, you know, and Fulham, they score the penalties. Pickford is getting the right way. He's got a hand to a few of them, and I expect him to save them. But they were right in the corner, in fairness, and he did well to probably even guess the right way and get close. But he'd be disappointed, I think, with only 1 second. He'd be disappointed with the fact that he hasn't saved any of those penalties, apart from that one. From, of course, Gecko Reed or whatever his name is. And Everton's penalties were convincing, you know, really good penalties up to the one we're going to talk about in a minute. Very, very convincing with, you know, Michael Keane's penalty. I'm going to have to go. The doorbell's going. Bear with me 1 second. This is the beauty of being on a live stream. I do apologise about that. But I'm back. And yeah, we'll just want to talk about the player ratings in a moment, but just go up to the penalties. Sorry, one second. Bloody typical, isn't it? Yeah, so the penalties. First one, really strong penalty from Beto, very convincing. You've also got the penalty from Michael Keane, hit like a striker. And we sent them the wrong way completely. And with all the penalties. And of course, it comes to the moment we were presented with a really good opportunity to win the game with Amadou Onana after Pickford saves that penalty. And Everton were really convincing with their penalties up to that point, sending Bernd Leno the wrong way and hitting them with conviction, hitting them. It was just very, very good the way we took those penalties. And then you've got Onana steps up and you're thinking this guy's probably dreaming of this moment to be able to win a penalty shootout for Everton, to go to a semi-final and be one step away from winning going to Wembley and potentially winning a trophy. And the more I watch it back, the more furious I am. He's done the hop, skip, jump thingy, and then he's hit it straight at the keeper. The keeper knows by the way that he's running up to the ball that it's going to be very difficult for him to do anything other than kind of like I think it'd be very difficult for him to get a lot of backlift on it into the corner, unless you're a very skilled penalty taker. But so the keeper waits and did the right thing, and you completely read Onana like a book. But even still, opportunity to send us to the semi-final, you just hit it in the corner, get your head over the ball or get your head under the ball and just lash it into the goal. I don't understand. And if Sean Dyche should be furious with him. And I think if Onana had done that in practice, I'd be calling him over and saying, look, if you're the 5th penalty taker in this game, there's no way you are doing something like that. Statistically, you've got a lot more chance of scoring with a hit it into the corner or high into the corner or just anywhere than that, in my opinion. That is a gamble. And for me, that was extremely unprofessional and a bad human error from him. And it would have been lucky if we'd have gone through on that basis. And of course, then, your momentum swings back to Fulham. They score in the penalties. Pickford gets near them. I think one of them he got sent the wrong way. And it steps Garner Gay, who's probably the last person you want to take a penalty. And I haven't seen it back, but it looked very telegraphed. It almost looked like it was going wide or onto the post, if anyone could confirm. But it was saved well. And then, at that point, the writing's on the wall. I mean, I knew Garner was not going to score that penalty, and I knew the writing was on the wall anyway at that point, but I just feel like we've absolutely fucked it. We've absolutely fucked it when we had a good chance of going through. And I think for me in that scenario, I'd summarise it and say, it's all our own fault. Played badly, played into the hands. We made it easy for Fulham. And then we've gifted them the win. Yeah, gifted them the win. Damien says it hit the post in the comments. I think it did. Down the other end. So I'm going to give you the player ratings. Just a brief moment. You're watching back. Do you want to explain? Of course, like the video and subscribe. But I want to take this channel to another level. And to do so, we need some funding. There's no way I can do it without that. A lot of you watch on the TV. And we've only got 720p streaming at the moment. I would like to upgrade this to 1080p streaming. The package is considerably more expensive than the package we're using at the moment. And obviously everyone on the channel is just volunteering their time. So if you do like us, what you can do to help us with that is go to followeverton.com. Sorry, not followeverton.com. YouTube.com/ YouTube.com/followeverton. So our channel page /join. If you're on a desktop or desktop version on mobile, you'll see the join button. and you can join. $2.99 a month. You'll get this special sort of badge next to your name in the comments. You'll get priority replies on the busiest streams. And we'll try and work out some of the things we can do. We're thinking of giving team news as well early for these people. And I know some of you can't afford even $2.99 a month, but the only way we can upgrade the stream to a high quality and to be able to stream, because we want to do multi-streaming to Twitch and Instagram, as well as the streaming platforms that we already do, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, to reach a new audience, to grow the channel, and we have to be able to do it. And the only way we can do it is by that sort of membership. So I'm waiting for our first person to do it. I think someone will do it. It'll be great when they do become our first VIP, and you'll actually see your name on YouTube on our page under the member section, which would be really nice. So more on that another time. Let's go in with the player ratings. I'm going to start with Jordan Pickford. I'm going to include penalties on this. He didn't have much to do in the game in the 90 minutes, but what he did have to do was be good with his distribution and clever with the ball. He put us massively under pressure with the first goal by passing it to Jarrod Branthwaite and kicking it out of play and just being very silly with it. I can't really remember him making a save because Fulham was shit as well. If I was giving the Fulham player ratings, I'd give them, apart from the 3 central midfielders who kind of just blocked us off, give them quite low ratings. They didn't do anything. They didn't. I don't think they had a shot, Fulham. So it depends on what basis you're trying to rate our Everton players. I can't give Pickford. He saved the penalty and he got near them, and I think he did his job in that regard. You know, he saved 1 out of the initial 5. So would you say 6.5 because he did what he needed to do? And I would have probably given him a 7 if his distribution was better. But he saved the penalty, gave us the opportunity to win the game on the penalty shootout, which Onana fluffed. So it would have been a 7, but I'm giving him a 6.5. I think he could have done better as well with some of those pens. He was so close to them. He'll be really disappointed. Okay, moving on. Left back, Jarrod Branthwaite. Good first half, got forward well, got the ball in the box, covered really well for Keane and Tarkowski, who looked a bit like a liability at times. So I'm going to give Branthwaite a 7, and he was playing out of position. I think he was possibly the best player in that back four. Tarkowski, I didn't think he had his best game. I think he was unconvincing. I think he did his job, but he was unconvincing. Didn't always win the first header. Wasn't careful on the ball. He wasn't as composed and as dominant as I would have said. So, and same with Michael Keane. They were okay. He got the own goal. I don't know how much you can do about that, but give them both a 6. I think. I don't think they were as good as the recent weeks, which were like, convincing 7s and 8s. Keeping a clean sheet and being very composed. But 6. So yeah, that's what I'd have to do. Moving on then, right back Patterson. Oh, should he stop the cross for the first goal? Could he do more going forward? Was he good enough defending? I don't think he was any worse than any of the others. What I would say is he stopped a certain goal at the back post at 1-1 that I think Fulham should have scored from. So for that, I'll give him a 7. I don't think he put an awful lot wrong. He's probably just as good as Branthwaite. He stopped a certain goal and he covered well and worked hard. Who else have I got in the team left? You've got Dwight McNeil, left midfield. Didn't have his best game. Very ineffective. Didn't contribute a lot going forward. Worked hard, but it was a poor game from Dwight McNeil. I'm going to give him a 5. Some people might be saying the complete opposite and saying he was brilliant, but no, he wasn't up to his high standards of the last few games. On the other side, you've got Jack Harrison, who I thought was the better of the two and got subbed off, but really didn't get a lot of quality in there. So I'd probably say I've got to give Jack a 5.5. I think he was just a bit better than McNeil, but there wasn't any end product there. The final ball didn't really look like scoring either. Just scored once for Everton so far. Need more goals from him. I've got to give him a 5/5.5. And then there's the midfield 3. There's a conundrum. They can't play together, these 3. You cannot have Onana and Garner in the same team. It doesn't work. And James Garner playing as a 10, he's only ever scored 1 goal for us, or 2 goals. 1 in the cup, 1 in the cup. Hi, Eugene. 1 in the cup, 1 in the league. He's not a prolific goal scorer. So it's difficult because in the other games we've played, we've pinned onto the opposition team, stopped them playing through us and kind of gone man for man and just suffocated them and won the transitions and then created chance after chance and just basically suffocated teams. I don't think we did that today, and I think that was down to the midfield as well, not pushing up too high and sitting off them and showing Fulham a lot of respect. So I'm going to give James Garner, I think he pressed really well, but he was out of position. I've got to give him a 6 for his work rate. Garner Gay, I'm going to give him a 4. I thought he was terrible. And Amadou Onana, I'm going to give him a 0 because of that penalty. It's absolutely brain dead to do that. So he gets a 0. If I take the penalty out, I don't even think he had his best game. He didn't control and dominate that midfield, and he didn't use the ball as well as I would have hoped. So not a good performance from them three. And I think we need to address that for Spurs. I think someone needs to come in. Maybe Jack Harrison moves into the 10. Keep Garner and Onana in that midfield and bring in Danjuma, Dobbin. I don't know what else you could do. Could Beto play on the right? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Up front, Calvert-Lewin. He's good with directing the press, but he didn't ever look like scoring, and he was very, very isolated in that game. So I'm going to give him a 5. Thought he really struggled. And the substitutions, Danjuma didn't do an awful lot, ran around a bit, got the ball into the box, which led to the mayhem for the goal. But you could argue you should do better. Probably give him a 5. And Beto, I'm going to give Beto a 7 because he worked really hard. He got his goal and took his penalty really well as well. So Beto's getting a 7. There was no other subs. So yeah, there's some of my final thoughts on the match. We need to put it to bed. We need to move on. It's very disappointing. Could be another year without a trophy, because I think we would have had a good run to the final. I think we'd end up getting Port Vale tonight or Middlesbrough, whoever won yesterday, and have a shot against possibly Liverpool or Newcastle in the final. But it's not to be. Damien is saying Beto needs to start against Spurs. I agree. I've dropped DCL for this game. I think we're going to have very little of the ball, and we're going to have to play on the counter, and we're going to need a miracle. I hope Mikalenko's back, and we can go to a back 4 with Branthwaite in his correct position. And I hope we've got some other option in that number 10 role, and he'll find the balance because it's not there. Thank you very much. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe. We'll be back very soon for the Spurs preview. Of course, if you want to join as well and support us, you can message me on Twitter to find out how to do that, or just go to youtube.com/ just put it up here. You go to www.youtube.com/ FollowEverton / and you will basically be supporting us in our endeavours to try and upgrade the stream. Thank you very much. Bye, Eugene. Bye, Kevin. Bye, Damien. Bye, Peter. And thank you for watching.